Okay, number 6, f of x equals that function, and g is the inverse. So given that f of 0 equals 1, what is the value of g prime of 1? So we know that to find the derivative at 1, we're really trying to find the derivative of the inverse, which means we might need to know what the point on the inverse function is as well. So if we know 0, 1 is a point on the original function, then we know 1, 0 is a point on the inverse function. We also know that the rule for the derivative of the inverse is equal to 1 over f, the derivative of f times, or of, I shouldn't say times, sorry. The derivative of f inverse of x. That's our rule. Now in this case they say g is the inverse of f, so I'm going to rewrite this rule and just say g of x, the derivative of that, g prime, is going to be equal to 1 over f prime g of x. Right? Because since they define g as the inverse, all my f inverses, I can replace them with g's. So this is the rule I'm going to go with. So it looks like to find the derivative of g at 1, we're going to do 1 over f prime of g of 1. Well, g of 1 we knew from this information, right? So now we're going to say that g prime of 1 is equal to 1 over the derivative of f at 0. So the key there is just kind of knowing that when they give us a point 0, 1, we already know the sister point, an inverse point. And of course the point is going to be crucial because the point at which we figure out like the inverse is at 1, they're going to be asking about the derivative of the inverse at that same point so that we could use it. So now we need to just basically find out what the derivative of f is at 0. So f prime of x is a chain rule where the outer function is x cubed, right? And then the inner function is 2x plus 1 that's been plugged into that. So I do power rule on the outside, recopy the inside, reduce the power. So remember, recopy the inside. Now times the derivative of the inside. So f prime of x is going to simplify to 6 times 2x plus 1 squared. So now f prime of 0 is going to be equal to 6 times 1 squared, which is equal to 6. So that means g prime of 1 is equal to 1 over 6. So that's all they wanted, right? They wanted the derivative of the inverse at 1. So it's choice D.